During Prohibition in the U.S., much of the smuggled liquor came in by sea. Smugglers prepared in advance for surprise customs inspections at sea. They would tie a bag of salt or sugar to each crate and throw it into the water when danger approached. After a certain time, the contents of the bags would be dissolved by the water, and the cargoes would float up. The first printed Quran came out in 1537 in Venice in the print shop of Paganini. It was most likely intended as a sale item for Turkey, but the Pope ordered all copies to be burned. They were considered lost until one copy was found in an Italian monastery in 1987. The Babylonian Bride Market is a painting by the English artist Edwin Long, 1875. The painting depicts a custom taken from the history of Herodotus. In his work, the ancient Greek historian described the marriage customs of the peoples of ancient Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria. This historical fact based on the fact that every year all the unmarried girls of the village were gathered in the square, where something similar to an auction began. They bought future wives. The auction began with the most beautiful and statuesque girl, followed by the worst, and last was the ugliest or most crippled girl. At the first Olympics, there were a lot of strange sports by today's standards. For example, javelin throwing with both hands and boulder pushing. At the 1900 Games in Paris, there was the 200-meter obstacle course. The swimmers had to wade through submerged timbers and dive under anchored boats. Illustration from an Ottoman medical manuscript. Genie sitting in the teeth. This is how dental caries appears. 18th century. Crystal ring from ancient Egypt, 1295-1069 BC. The item was kept in a private English collection. Today, in the property of the company Phoenix Ancient Art, which trades in antiquities. Stanley Matthews was recognized several times as the best footballer in England, and once as the best footballer in Europe. Throughout his sporting career, which lasted until the age of 50, he was never sent off the field and did not even receive a single warning. At the farewell match, Queen Elizabeth II bestowed upon him the title of Knight, which was the first such case among soccer players. The same achievement was later repeated by Gary Lineker, although he left the sport earlier, at the age of 34. A bracelet from the necropolis of Pantikapaum, the capital of the Bosporan Kingdom. This ancient state existed from the 5th century BC to the 6th century AD on the territory of the Kerch and Taman peninsulas. Today the bracelet is kept in the Hermitage. The Roman agricultural calendar is Menologia Rustica. For each month, 3 on the plane, the sign of the zodiac, the name of the month, the number of days, the length of day and night in hours, a protective deity, work in the field, and the most important festivals are shown. 2 specimens are known, both date to the beginning of our era, and were found in the 16th century. One is in the Archaeological Museum of Naples, the other is lost. The comb is more than 3,500 years old. It is an ancient Egyptian exhibit from the Walters Art Museum. The comb is attributed to the New Kingdom era, when ancient Egypt was at its height of prosperity. It is believed to have been made from sycamore, a mulberry tree called the biblical fig tree. In the Middle Ages, European artists already knew that there were elephants on Earth, but they had not seen them in person. Before you are medieval elephants, drawn from the stories of travelers and augmented by the imagination of the authors. Stalin was not only a Soviet leader, but also an Indian leader, and he even had a headdress corresponding to the leader of the Indian tribe. Indian crown was transferred to the Soviet Union in January 1942 by the delegates of the All-American Congress of the Indian Tribes. Native Americans unanimously elected Joseph Vissarionovich as the leader of all Native Americans. Especially for the Secretary General, they made a large wreath of rare eagle feathers. Driver, pay attention. We rely on your honesty. We have no traffic cops here, so please do not exceed 30 mph, 50 km/h, so they will not be needed in the future. A road sign in the United States, 1920.